Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. I'm your host, John. Now, you may have heard me mention Goblin's Henchman before on the podcast. He's got his own anchor podcast about RPGs and stuff like that I highly recommend you check out, and I'll put a link in the description and down below for that. But he also puts out loads of content, some of which is free, all of which is very interesting on Drive-Thru RPG, including his hex flowers or random tables with a memory that he makes available there, along with templates and such like to create your own, and I've talked about those in numerous previous episodes. However, in this episode I'm going to be talking about Face Folio, the Zinequest 4 entry that Goblin's Henchman has been kind enough to send me a review copy of. As of the time of recording, there's still about a week left on the Kickstarter, so you can jump on that if you want. But what is Face Folio, I hear you ask? Well, we'll get straight to that after the music. Okay, so as you can see here, Face Folio for Zinequest 4 is 100 fantasy portraits for tabletop RPGs, and you can see a little selection on this Kickstarter page. At the time of recording, it's already doubled its funding goal. It has 200 backers, and like I say, as of the time of recording, there's 11 days to go, but it'll probably be 10 by the time this goes out. But there's still just over a week for you to jump on board if you want to do so. So if we scroll down, we see here that Face Folio provides 100 fantasy portraits for role-playing games. These cover demon blood, dragon blood, dwarf, elf, and all your traditional sort of fantasy races. This Kickstarter is ready to fulfill as soon as the Kickstarter formalities end. The art's drawn, the zines laid out, the PDF's made, they've got all the test prints, all of that schmozzle, and they're pretty much ready to go. We have details of what the electronic rewards will contain there, a 32-page PDF, 100 individual images, one for each portrait, and 100 initiative trackers, again, one for each portrait. The printed zines, we have a sample there. Looks like it's going to be available in a slightly hardback and a paperback version. It's going to be A5 in size, 32 pages excluding cover and back, and it's going to have a drop dice table on it, which is pretty cool. I love a drop dice table. All the artwork was done by Marcin S, so there is a consistent and coherent style throughout, and you'll see that in a few moments when we look at the preview or review copy PDF that I've been sent. There's no stretch goals, there's no commercial license and use, so you can't really use these as sort of art in your projects for RPGs, unless assuming you've reached some sort of arrangement with the artist, but you can't do that off the bat of just buying this. It's mainly for personal use. We're told that this is their second Kickstarter project. A lot has been learned from the first project, and that's why electronic and print on demands will be filled normally instantaneously. And if I remember correctly, Face Folio was a previous Zinequest project which was released, but there was various delays, and now it's being re-released, effectively like a sort of second printing, I suppose. So let's see if we've got anything further on here. We don't have any updates yet, so let's jump straight on to having a look at the review PDF that Goblin's Henchman has kindly sent to. Okay, so let's have a look at the preview copy of Face Folio that Goblin's Henchman has kindly sent to me, starting here with the title page. Now obviously I'm not going to do a full review of this because it is essentially a book of character portraits, so it's mostly art included here, and that's not to throw any shade on this at all. It's just obviously there's not the sort of in-depth sort of wordy content to look at, but still let's have a look through it and see what we've got. So first page is a table of contents which details out the types or the races of character portraits you're going to get, and we have demon blooded, so your tieflings and whatnot, your dragon-blooded, your dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-orcs, halflings, humans, and then we get some NPC nobles and townsfolk, which is especially interesting to me as a lifelong GM because I'm always looking for pictures for NPCs and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's press on. We start off with the demon-blooded, your standard sort of tiefling-esque characters here, and we get a nice little sort of name chart here with your standard names and then sort of additional suffixes that you could use as prefixes as well, I suppose. It's a D10 table, you know, just a nice little table there. There's a bit of an added extra bonus. All of these pictures are really cool and done in a sort of grey scale format. They've got a bit of a sort of cartoony edge to them. I don't say that again to throw shade on it, but they all look really cool, and I can see some of these being equally useful as NPCs or villains. Certainly for myself, where I'm running older school games where tieflings don't really tend to be a thing as characters, I could certainly see them being villainous clerics or priests of evil gods. We continue on to the dragon-blooded. Again, the same format. We get a name table and some lovely portraits there, and this seems to be the format that we get throughout this book. You get a name table, then you get a couple of pages, so with 4 sort of portraits on them, so you're basically getting like 10 portraits per different race here. We see this again with the elves, gnomes, half-orcs, halflings, humans, and now we move on to the bit I've been waiting for, the NPC nobles, and these all look very interesting. We've got a sort of a Grimer Wormtongue looking fellow there, which is pretty cool. I can see that being a villainous seneschal or something like that. We then go on to further portraits. There's quite a few of those, and NPC townsfolk, which starts off with the ever ubiquitous barkeep and tavern maid. We have an old looking woman, I presume a promiscuous lady of the night, although I could be wrong, a toothless ne'er-do-well, a snivelling but slightly sneering and up himself looking scribe, a clerical type, and a few other types. Then we have a page for notes, and we have this page here showing all of the portraits in miniature, and that forms the final sort of end piece of the book. So what do I think of Face Folio for Zinequest 4? Okay, so I think that Face Folio is a really useful resource, both for players and GMs who are looking to liven up either their character sheet or an NPC sheet with an appropriately cool looking portrait. And when you consider that the PDF version, which gets you the PDF zip files of 100 images and an initiative tracker in PDF format, is only £4 in British money. The printed sort of standard paperback version, which also gets you the PDF, is only £5 in British money. And if you want to the premium, the slightly sort of harder wearing version, which again comes with the PDF and the electronic version, that's only £7 in British money. So you really can't go far wrong for that price. All of the artwork in this book is excellent. It's all laid out and ready to go, so assuming no printing issues or anything like that, I would expect this to fulfill fairly quickly. And as the author of the Kickstarter said, they've learned a lot of lessons from their previous one. So I would say if you're looking for some excellent portraits that could really liven up your D&D game, whether for NPCs or for a player character, you really can't go far wrong with this. And I would certainly advise, if you've got the readies lying around and you're in the market for some character portraits or NPC portraits, jump on this Kickstarter while it's still open. Make your pledge, whether it's for the PDF or the print versions, and you really will not be disappointed. So thanks again to Goblin's Henchman for sending me this review copy. I really enjoyed flicking through all of the pictures, and it really started to spur my imagination for how I could use some of them as NPCs in my next Old School Essentials campaign. So that's it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and you found it useful, please like, share and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the podcast version, hopefully you'll listen to the next episode. Maybe add us to your favourites list if you enjoyed it. If you don't, that's absolutely fine as well. But hopefully we'll see you again for the next episode. So until then, take care, stay safe, and whatever you're playing, have fun. We'll see you soon.